okay, we say fight TV Ghana person no like no comment no share money as why the enye bia hwe na ye ko ye semu no Dr. Matthew Opoku Brempe na popularly. I be anim no. This year on the current running mate for the new Patriotic Party. Yeah, until on Dr. Mamu Baumia and a MPP for a ticket for 2024 elections, no. The most attractive what ticket. So now we and Dr. Matthew Opoku Brempe. I'm missed in some my Captain Smart money and this phone did dinner them no akọka kwa me nkroma asem na de ndi okọ western radio mu ndom be no. Wakopi mo western radio. O kan asem na ndra ene wakopi mo western radio. Na ahim for more western radio ne western radio ndom nsem o mo kan. O mo say we are solidly behind you. Be focused and be bold. Great job. Best running mate. Dr. Matthew Opoku Brempe. O mo say on focus it. No man kokonsunya de enye duru omo tanechi. So what he has here? Ntin semsem na mo de wada na propaganda ne settings na mo ye no chale anko ba bia they look at your pictures no. The pictures no. So hu ye kan mo ma ye nka de hunu. Omafo we say it is possible Dr. Napo. You can tickle yourself and laugh, but deep within you are suffering from a cognitive incongruence between reality and pretense. Yo, bro, for yate, incoming vice president Napo, yes, incoming. So what you say? It's the most them na more Canadian or no. Or man for not dinner tune that wa bepo bras muje na no.
I tell me, I'm a female. Woman, she pretty. The Okan was a transit. Me grow. Casapi. So, the Juano doors on the force. The was the mission there. In contact. I'm sure. In contact, I'm pretty busy. You want to be our function. Vice President. Yeah, great. Food that say on the make for once a year. Now, when you come back, Ghana, the Grandpa Kufadu, no one lives house. Oh, yeah, no, only. Politicians, you find yourself a feel. Another doctor for what kind of sheep. You beat me now, you will come. Empo, you will come, say I do a response. Say, if you say Ghana, 1957, by from Bangalore, Ebekane, a pension no way is what change. Now, yeah. I'm in a supply. Look at the cry, I told you to Andy. Which one cry, near Busa? Opademy, Nana, one part floor. And they who the shame. See, and not me, the chair, Master. And I'm the country 50, there, and some said, you are so coming out. Now, the woman sharing now, it's no MY. If you feed and then they are the crop, then that was a mile Adansimayo, Sexteu, Senhaya, Hasa Monte, Lin, Chichi, Masonapati. Mina Napa, and Yankee, and then Baha, but send the chica. Now, Piper, body and tie, she have body and tie, she did the only hour. If you pass on that one, now to be about one, and Obichire, to make it high on the heart. I'm going to want to show, say, I did another year, means some more poor day. Now, you get them, they're not have not be paid so. And now, but the credit so I did perfect. No safety kind, but I was. So, Piper, no price in my yet. A shame. And after so, Papa, you don't be changed. The minimum, not Germany, Germany, and I have. That's now. And to work out in what social media, the look at the social media. I think, oh, I'll say, I think it was so big now. The group, good now, and the drink country. Because I grow no deal, but the fish was a crowd, it's a couple. 2020, I found here was a buyer trouble and so one of the pieces the whole way. And what they are, the of money, they are, if you are a family man to jump, if you say for food, see a young son, they are saying, yes, over your mamma, can we have I check your mind. Your brother was there.
Yeah, some need to remove. Huh? Let me touch you. Huh? I'm saying, I just to look at that. Yeah. Don't I need to remove? Huh? Yeah. I said, Doctor, I don't want a doctor very bison. Yeah. Yeah, for the SLC count. I better say, no, huh? The time you know. Yeah. I'm not Iron Man for kind of put down. One problem. Yeah. I'm on my papa's school. Lawyer, but protein is in my papa's school. Now, the minister, regional minister, which also pay for me. Yeah. I like the student. I mean, we know I like to show my father. Yeah. And maybe we could come and make an account. It was a papa. You say, Dr. Bobice. Yeah. Now, a cabinet minister. Say MP. Say minister. We can do what? Yeah. What's it you Who bought the passing? I'm not going to. I think how we are. Yeah. Kotoko, I say for some way. I'm so boy. I'm a shamba. This kind of here. Dr. Mamu. Come on, let's have money. Yeah. I'm the I don't say so. Oh, in your body, you can have 1 piece. Yeah. Now, Minister, a woman piece that I'm fishing it. Is it because central? Yeah. You don't want to papa. But everyone said, everything that's I don't do like. Yeah. Just benefit. Let me tell you don't have to go there. Yeah. Now, you say, right. If you are not finding a friend, easy. One will show that. When you know about so, start in your book. Yeah. I said, we share. You may guess what is what you are. Yeah. This is a brass system in this. It's a catch a life student. Yeah. I'm going to put how can you say what you can get? Yeah. It's really a mabu upon the channel. One days now. Yeah. A bank crime. Then you come. Yeah. Many are so. And rather me see Dr. Baumia Namakosem. Yeah. I'm not a politician. I'm not a deputy governor of Bank of Ghana. Now, Baumia said, the Union yet a year. Yeah. What's a demand? Dr. Polakwa. Dr. Polakwa, and I said, Dr. Baumia. Welcome to the I'm not feeling what's in it. Said one way. Yeah, as I said, one way. Sir, Baumia, I want to say you were president. Yeah, you know, too much as yet. Yeah. Now, aside from moon, yeah. Then I will say, I'm not moon. Fine. Well, welcome. Fine. I will move back to the moon. Fine. And now our vice is a minister for education. Dr. Luchu, I'm looking for me a copy. Fine. Now, I don't want separate copy. Yeah, and I will check on him now, not scared. And then the call. Yeah. Yeah. This year, only I'm going to you. The general has a good young to me. I'm assaulting. Yeah. And I'm talking about the boy. I'm a good day. So look me. Yeah. Now, I'm not a Pocasano. Ocasio, Uncle One, and Lucia. Ocasio, Uncle One, you know, I did. Sabbath, yeah. Nana may be a man. George Bush, the chain. What kind of change am I causing? Yeah. The same you can if you banana and yap. That's the kenny. Say, I'll be your mom. Yeah. You better come so. And I was making and I know. Yeah. So, but when you answer, as I'm doing so. So, when you answer, as I'm doing so. It's okay. I don't answer me. You only know what I told you. And your reaction. Your reaction.
Yeah, vice president. What do you mean? Then you're walking. Then you're walking. What's the prayer you be invited? And you know, so much you will leave her.
Medical doctor outperforms Jane Nana, the educationist.
To try and assess who maybe may come on top when it comes to the floating voter, if at all NAPO can appeal to that particular class of voters. And look at that. Look at the issue of children out of school, which is a key thing if you want to look at education minister and your ability to keep children in school. And the time that Jane Nana was in office in 2014, that children out of school, the number was 720,000. The time that she left, it was 791. So it climbed up slightly. Managed to bring it down to 750. 4,000 children out of school, but climbed back up. So that isn't a great record as far as that is concerned, because at least what you meet, you want to bring it down consistently, right? Children out of school. it's something that you really want to tackle. And then you come to Napo. Napo then means some may say that Jane Napo Kojuman's credit is the 362,000 children of the school that Napo met, but that's what he met in 2017, and then increases a bit, drops in 2019, and then it's climbed up again to 566,000. That again, you can make of it what you will, but it's an important indicator. But another thing that we saw we should do is government expenditure on education. And you see that under Jane, the government was spending quite a bit. And this is a percent of the government expenditure. Was spending quite a bit on education, right? Up until the time that she left office, they were spending 22%. Napo's time, we're talking about 13% the last time we checked. That isn't quite good, especially for a government that was implementing the free SHS. You think they will be spending far more on that particular part of the economy. Education, again, it's about how much money they both have to play with, right? And that tells the story there. And then you look at the subject of the school enrollment, which, by the way, is Napo's biggest, I guess, thing he's going to point to in terms of what he did with the free SHS. One of the fundamental successes of free SHS is increased enrollment. The question have always been, what about quality? But look at that. 73% climb, right? Jane only manages 67%, right? And he will tell you that that's increasing access, which is a very, very important indicator in education. You don't want to leave any child behind. And this is really what NAPO comes into this picture with. And that is one of his biggest achievements he implemented, one of the most important consequential policies of our time indeed. And the final one I'll look at before I sit down for a conversation with my guest is the subject of trained teachers in primary education, which is again very important. Where NAPO was at the time, the last time we checked in 2020 when the data was available, he was at 67%, right? And you have Jane there leaving in 2016 at 56%. Now, so you can look at that in terms of teachers in primary school, trained teachers. He increased it systematically over time. Jane fluctuated slightly, but also increased it from what she met in 53 to 56%, right? But Napo meets 55, takes it to 67%. So that is quite good also. Listen, this is head to head. Now,
Amafo, mo se mo mate. Like baby section bi e wa education nim ne nyina, o de nyina abo. Sika mo na mo time na collect your school fees, sika na mo use no. Or the free SHS buy no. Percentage wise. Free SHS dey sika na sa wo from say mo de na mo use. Na say na mo say sika ni bi. Mo twa ala wa ne bibi e mu ne nyina echi no. Like eye hu na po din na kasa eye pressure man bi si for no ani attacks that's all. Attacks na ho na fiba. Ti enya wawa. Omanfo ekọ hanum say nso a omanfo bi so professor Echi Sikanku.
and Prof,
So
that's
they
a very
said
interesting
this
point.
about
I mean,
Dr. Mamobo
I can know him very, very well.
natural connection
I
with
mean,
the
you're
music.
almost saying that you either hate him or you love him. And if you love him, you love him dearly. You always want to die for him. And if you hate him, you hate him. What's your comment on that?
When you choose a vice presidential candidate, you make that decision for a number of reasons. And in the long history of the vice presidency, from candidate to, if you win, become the vice president, there are a lot of dynamics that get involved in it. Not just from a Ghanaian perspective, but if you look at it from a democratic perspective and a global democratic perspective, you'd realize that the office of the vice presidency has evolved quite over time. If you take even the US, for instance, when President Obama was choosing his vice president, he chose Joe Biden. I mean, and we all know, I've studied this thing for quite a while. Joe Biden came in fourth in the Iowa caucuses. He was almost last. He was almost dead and gone. In fact, his political career had been decided that it was the end of it. Why would President Obama choose somebody like that? It was to complement him on several grounds. Dr. Matthew Puku Prempe complements the current candidate in terms of geography. He also complements him ethnically in order to bring that balance. You could also say in terms of youth to some extent, because definitely not as old as the candidate, and he has this very natural connection to a lot of young people. And a good example is our Honorable Deputy Minister, who we've just seen. So that balance and that complementarity is there. Another important reason why you choose somebody like that is because you do want your wingman on the ground doing a lot of the operational heavy lifting job for you. That is what Vice President Joe Biden did for President Obama. If you look at Kenya, we have Rigathi Gachagua, aka Riggy G, and I've studied that terrain for quite a bit. He does the same thing from William Ruto throughout the campaign season and even when they became they became president and vice president. I see this dynamic, and from what the honorable deputy minister is saying, as the presidential candidate deciding that I'm going to need somebody who's going to go down there and get the job done for me in any respect. You can look at it electorally, you can look at it in terms of governmentality. Electorally, you want a very agile, dynamic, forceful, fiery VP candidate. And the VP ship is no period to come and sit down and just wax, I mean, in a lazy manner. Yes, the presidential candidate is there to be above the fray, to cross that presidential bar to look and sound presidential. Of course, the VP candidate has to be competent, but he needs to be the president's ears and nose on the ground. He needs to be the reflexive pulse of the people. And when we get into that deeper conversation as to what the prototype of a VP candidate should be, we'll get more into that. But
One for somebody. So you be a fierce, or like also musuro no. But some so youth connection no. So what I say, be a somebody who gets the job done. And Napo has proven over time being a minister, education. Yes, baby a whole tough ring in other manner. Now I say, oh, and no man who you know, that's the thing.